Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes sometimes, you know, in this business or in this art form, you just get handed gems
Hmm.
and you get the opportunity to do really great material that's really well directed. That was directed by Shanna Stein, and who gives you the space in the room to to find stuff.
Hmm.
And we worked through it. And I was like, um, it was a much shorter scene, and I was like, I feel like there has to be time between when I get the gun and, you know, he's taking a drink, he's trying to get the courage to figure out what's next. And it wasn't necessarily even written that it was I don't really feel like it was written that it was a suicidal moment, but I was like, this is a great opportunity here to
Hmm.
leave the audience with you know, and that was between the writers and Shanna and myself. We were like, here's the time for this, you know, palpable moment where this guy's at a crossroads of like
Hmm.
his 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 career, his family life,
Hmm.
his, you know, he's going to go to jail. Like this guy's not going to survive in jail, you know. Um, like this is the Jeffrey Epstein sort of not the crime, but this is the he finds himself in holding and he offs himself
Hmm.
anyway sort of thing, you know.
See, but I think
But
he was conflicted though, because the way that I love the way that it was shot, just looking at it from a producer and director's vantage, is that it left the imagination where, okay, is he going to kill himself? Is he going to take this gun and go after Ghost and murder him? Is he going to take matters into his own hands, per se, of like where he's going to go to that dark side? Because there's so many ways that it could have played out where he could have, said, okay, fuck it. I'm throwing my hands up. I'm joining Team Tommy. I'm joining Team Ghost and becoming a bad guy and playing, like a bad lawyer. Or he snaps, as you said, and kills himself. But it left it to the imagination of the audience to sort of figure out.
yeah, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I remember because that was obviously years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and what I remember kind of the crossroads being that what I locked into emotionally
Okay.
was how unfair life is.
Mm-hmm.
How here I am abiding by the law, trying to find justice,
Mm-hmm.
and because I did a few things to kind of help justice along, which yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
broke the law, but this guy's out here and he's a serial killer and a
Mm-hmm.
drug dealer and
Mm-hmm.
all the other things that this guy is. And I'm the one that's going to go to jail
Mm-hmm.
because I planted a phone to help convict a guy that was guilty, and I knew he
Mm-hmm.
was guilty. I just couldn't, you know. And so it was just kind of like that the lack of that sort of childlike life. Why can't life be fair?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that all is lost moment. Like there's this sense of hopelessness, and um and so in the disappointing my family, yeah, having to face that music, it's actually pretty easy for me to get bent out of shape just
Mm-hmm.
considering those things. You know what I mean? But the thing that's hard sometimes as an actor is being given that space, being given that time and space when you're in front of the camera and you're actually
Mm-hmm.
on set and they're like, okay, everybody, so okay, clear out, okay, you're good, okay, everyone back to one, and you know all that kind of crap, and it's just all everything's technical, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going, hey, I got to be locked in here, I got to be, and sometimes the best thing that I have done for myself in moments that it's important is to, in a very loving way, kind of carve out that space for myself. Meaning, I'll 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 talk to the crew and the other cast members and the director and the DP, and I'll just say, "Hey guys, can we just like this is obviously a really intense sort of thing, and I just kind of like need to just kind of hang out in this zone a little bit. And they'll be like, yeah, 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 okay, cool. And just kind of get everybody on your side. Like not in the like, shut the fuck up, not
Hmm.
like that, because then they're against you, right? And then you have to like fight through the fact that everybody's staring daggers at you, hating you, and
Hmm.
then perform on top of that. It's more like, hey, I really believe in this scene, and I want to make this something. Can I just have a minute? Because a lot of times they just want to go. They're just like, okay,
Hmm.
roll camera, and I'll be like, can I have a minute? And they'll be like, they're never going to say no. You have to go,
Hmm.
but you have to sometimes not be the good student and just say, yeah, I'm good, let's go. Sometimes you have to be like, I need a minute. I need a minute.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, in regards
You
to
know,
acting per se, like for those that are getting into the business, and even for you, I mean, you've been doing this a long time as well. When you've worked on different sets, and even for say number one on Power, but just overall as an actor, are you a person like sometimes you walk into certain sets and you know who the egos are, like people number one that have just this certain ego where they're like, you know, a different Verado, and then you have the other actors that are more like they want to talk to everybody on set, they want to make sure everybody's in a good mood, they want to be approachable. What is your aspect of like, are you the person that needs to, before you get into a scene, to be off by yourself, figuring out what you're going to do and then just going there and doing it? Or are you a person that needs to sort of feed the energy off the room, off of everybody else before getting into play?
I have found that being being that I'm on the side of the camera that I'm on,
Mm-hmm.
there's already a false sense of importance that a lot of actors can buy into.
Mm-hmm.
A
Great
lot of
point.
actors buy into, they're like, oh, I'm the important one here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never felt that way. I've always felt like it's an honor to be the one that gets to be on camera, but the reality is everybody's making this shit happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and I just get to kind of help be this part of the story and
Mm-hmm.
a storyteller. But if the guy pulling focus isn't doing his job, then the thing doesn't work. If
Mm-hmm.
the camera operator's not like on point, then it doesn't feel, the vibe doesn't feel right, et cetera, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera. The lighting, there's the directing, the all of it. This the I mean, so many things can go wrong,
Hey,
but
Joseph
I
just jumped
feel
into the
like,
room.
hey, Joseph Sikora,
You
woo!
should send him an invite, bring him in the room. You'd be joining this conversation.
How about Force, man?
Okay.
Gotta love Force. Love that
No, no,
show.
continue,
Have you been
continue.
watching?
I just
And
watched it last, and Joseph, my man, big ups for your role in that, man. It's You got a winner on your hands. You definitely got a winner on your hands.
jeez, yeah. He's setting records over there. He's setting records. I love it. I love the cast. I love the show. I love
so,
Joseph, man. He's the best.
somebody
He is the best.
somebody actually emailed a question in regards to you and Joseph in regards to, let me get it. Hold on. Let me get it here.
While you're looking at what were we talking about? Oh,
Oh,
I was saying I think that it's vitally important that I, being in front of the camera, am inclusive of the energy of the whole group,
mhm,
and it's important to celebrate everybody and celebrate, like when we do well, it's not because of me, it's
mhm,
because of the collective, right?
mhm. It's like a
And
team. It's like a basketball
um,
team.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, it's kind of like a basketball team, except with basketball, it'd be like somebody else was your legs, because that's in reality, that's how it is being on camera. I mean, with we get the honor of being in front of the lens and telling the incredible stories that are written down. And but I'll tell you, a great editor can make or break the whole damn thing.
Hmm.
I guess a shitty editor too could break the thing, right? But there's so many things at play. So I just feel like it's my job to be loving and cool and open with people and friendly, because I want people, honestly, I want people on my side. so that
Hmm.
when I actually need a moment and I actually need support, which isn't all the time. Sometimes stuff's just easy and it's whatever. But you find yourself out there and you're naked and it's cold and you're emotional and you're, you know, facing death. Like you want to have everybody else that's around there like there with you. You don't
Hmm.
want them to be going, this fucking guy, you know, who's this asshole?
Speaking of
Like,
Joseph being on here right now, that scene, of course, we were talking about where they had you and basically were about to off you. When they put that bag over your head, how many takes was that? Was that like, did you full out missionary just go right through and really start choking your death, or was that stop and breathe a little bit?
well, that was no, we did that. You know, Joe obviously controlled that whole thing because he had my chair tilted back, and he was always really awesome with making sure that I wasn't dead. And you know, but we had Bart Weinrich who directed that, and he did a great job. But he's also like he had to do takes, so we did a lot of takes of that, which I actually really appreciate because I feel like you end up getting. Um, so many options to so many at bats and like
Hmm.
I'm one of those actors that wants more at bats. If they say, hey, do you want to go again, i I'm always like, yeah, let's go again. Like, why the hell wouldn't
Hmm.
I go again? You know what I mean? I can be better. And so yeah, we did that a lot. And those guys, you know, that was also the only time that I got to be on camera with both, you know, Omari and Joe like that. And so that was an honor, first of all, and so much fun.
Hmm. So, like for you, like, have you ever had that? And because we were talking about before, as I said, with egos, have you ever been on a set where you've dealt with that ego and having to do a
Yeah,
scene with
100%.
somebody that like? So what's your like experience, and also like how do you handle that situation for you as an actor?
Well, I mean, it's, I won't name names, but I'll say
Hmm.
that that unfortunately in this business, like I said, being in front of the camera, you unfortunately, there's a sense of